All right, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Two Guns, No Ammunition. I'm Billy Two Guns. Sorry to start off on a somber note, but one of our compatriots, Genevieve, her grandmother has passed away, and I would be remiss if I didn't send out our condolences from the whole podcast. She was the Oma from Lexington. If you called her, well, I think she was, she immigrated to America, and she has a bunch of good kids who are healthy, and she was 94 years old, and she had a full head of dark black hair until the very last day. And there were a couple things that she did. I never met her, and it's one of those things. It's like you feel like you know a person by proxy. And I'm sorry I didn't meet her, but anything good ever was German, right? So if they did something cool in China, Zioma could explain to you how actually those people are descended from the ancient peoples who occupied the now German region. So whatever they invented was actually a very cool German invention. Everything and everyone that you could take pride in was actually German. And let's see. And when you'd call her, she would say, "Hello, this is Zioma from Lexington," as though there were a number of Omas that you might encounter, another grandmas. "Hello, this is Zioma." "Which Oma from Lexington?" And you're like, "Oh, okay, all right, that Oma's fine with me." But I just, we love Genevieve. We love Genevieve's dad. A lot of love to their whole family. So I'll tell one story about my grandma. And if you guys have any stories about your grandmas, maybe throw it out there. But, my mom's mom, was one of those grandmas who, like, people have scary grandmas. I didn't. She was super sweet, always supportive of me, even when I was a big dum-dum. But one time, she friggin' roasted me, and it was like a grandma roast, and I didn't see it coming. I was like, my dog, Newt, the best dog I ever had, Newton, he was like drooling or something. I was like, well, of course he's drooling. He doesn't have any lips. And my grandma was like, he doesn't have lips? And then she grabs Newt gently by the face, those things that hang down. They're like, "What are these then? Newt, you don't have any lips. What are these things? They sure look like lips to me." And she went on for about 2 minutes about how I said dogs don't have lips, and whatever those things are clearly lips. I meant, like, you know what I meant. And it was pretty good because it was very wholesome, and she had never once roasted me in my entire life. So it was like an absolute trump card. And then my other grandmom, who fortunately is still kicking. I think she just turned 90 this year. Her memory's starting to go a little bit, and she loves to read, and she would read books and trade them with her very extended family. But now she doesn't need to do that anymore, because by the time she finishes a book, she's forgotten the last one, so she could just read it again. So I'm like, "Grandma, do you remember this? Did you read it?" She's like, "I don't know. I'll just read it again." So, anyway, yeah, grandmas are great.
Grandmas. Yep.
Yeah.
Two guns, no grandmas.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yep. Yep.
Two grandmas, no ammunition.
Yeah.
My grandma has a gun.
Yeah? Got a Terminator gun?
357.
Jesus.
Damn.
She was...
She's going to roast Bill with that?
This is a very short story, but
Okay.
She was terrified of guns,
Mm-hmm.
and she was an old lady living by herself, and a family friend was like, "You should probably not be afraid of guns. Here's 4 handguns. Put them in your hand. Which one feels the most comfy?" And it was a Ruger, probably like a Ruger 100 or something, like a 357 Magnum. And he was like, "Great, we're getting you one, and you're enrolling in a class." And she was top of that class in like her 50s or 60s.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think she's taking it out of the closet in decades at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But the teacher of that class was like, old lady can shoot the wings off a gun or off a fly.
Yeah.
Wings off a fly with a gun. Something. It was far more eloquent and less intoxicated than I am this holiday Monday. Anyway, so that led to us joking as me and my cousins of her being secret special forces and like fat old Jewish lady like diving through windows and murking terrorists in the face with a wheel gun.
Oh, you boys are just so naughty. That's how they would do it, right?
You anti-Semitic bastards. Anyway.
Anybody else, Chris?
We've been talking for 35 minutes. No one knows who we are, Bill.
Oh.
We've been talking for hours.
I said this is welcome to another episode, Two Guys No Ammunition. We are a video game podcast, but, you know, we're also a family, so we're telling family stories. I'm going to give one opportunity to the left side of the room. Do you got any grandma stories?
Yeah, I got one.
All right.
So you guys know how close I am with my mom, and I'm also very close with my grandmother. One time we were at a Kmart, and I was like she was like typical grandmother spoiling me with a bunch of toys. I'm walking up to the counter with like, you know, Power Rangers shit and a Ghostbusters DVD, like the cartoon, which was awful. And I get up and there's this woman in line and she's like, you know, buying mother things and she's like a couple bucks short. And she's like clearly distressed about it because it was like diapers and whatnot. And my grandmother goes up to the cashier and was like, how much is it? You know, and I'll cover the difference. And the cashier looks at her and goes, it's about $3.50. And my grandmother looks at her and says, oh, you goddamn Loch Ness Monster, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
Got him.
Good
Wait,
one.
did that actually happen or did you get us?
Yeah,
You got Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, you got us?
Yeah.
That
You
wasn't
got
a real story? I really liked it better when it was your
Goddamn
grandma.
Loch Ness Monster.
God damn it.
Goddamn Loch Ness Monster got Bill.
All right. Okay. Well, there you go. We're going to go around and do a quick mic identifier. I'm Billy Two Guns. We are No Ammunition. I'm going to tell you something cool about myself. Hey, ditch the Q-tips. Use the handle on your fingernail clippers. Just give the old ears a scoop. Cleaner than a whistle. I'm telling you.
That's a fact about yourself?
I invented that technique, and I stand by it.
One of these days, Bill's going to come in with a hearing aid because he burst his eardrum.
That's the secret. You don't have to.
Here's the thing: ditch the back of your nail clipper. Just grab an ice pick. Grab an ice pick and dive sideways on it.
Listen, you don't need to go that far in. You use it like an ice cream scoop.
Do you use a hammer too?
No. Do you use a hammer for an ice cream scoop?
Listen.
You get
Don't
right on the
clean your
lip.
ears.
Depends on how hard the ice cream
Yeah.
is.
You get it right on the lip. You go whoop.
Well, here's the thing: ditch your ear scoop and hammer. Okay. And
Okay.
from now on, just put your head under a moving car.
Oh my God. There are people who do candles though. Suck their earwax out.
It's delicious.
Okay.
So, Bill you now have an earwax fixation. I'm determined.
Fetish. Really.
That's your fact.
Yep.
Good job.
And I'm Chris, and I don't have an ear fetish.
Come on,
A wax fetish.
a positive, like an actual affirmative fact about yourself.
Yeah.
Please, goddammit.
I like to scratch my butt and smell my finger. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Jesus
You all right? That you like to sniff your own poo hole? Go
Facts
ahead.
about me.
Fucking psychopaths.
My name is Nessie. I'm 25 feet tall.
God.
20.
God damn it, you
27,000
pounds.
pounds.
How does
Why
this-
you get up on my podcast? That'd be true.
How does this joke still get referenced? I looked it up. It's like 16 years old.
Yeah.
Deal
I'm
with
so ready
it.
for it to die.
It's OG South Park.
Oh my God. It's on Reddit all the time. I'm like, this is neat. It wasn't even hardly funny when it came out.
There's the other one that floats around Reddit. It's like the dude whose dad beat him with the jumper cables.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So, in lieu of Frank, we have the shape-shifting Loch Ness Monster once again. I'm Jake, and I hate all of you.
Hey, I'm 4 days away from becoming a boomer. So,
I already beat you to become
I
a
know.
boomer.
Wait, you're going to be 30?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we will be a majority boomer show at that point.
Yep. So,
Wow.
we're cutting the taxes. We're getting rid of Medicare. wait, no, we like Medicare, but we don't like everybody else's health care. That's right. I got to get this straight.
Right.
It's tough to keep all the things straight.
Medicare for no one but me.
Yeah.
Being a hypocrite on purpose is hard.
It is. Yeah. Because you have to remember what to be hypocritical about.
Right.
I think the secret to being a hypocrite is just to just always think of yourself, but never think so deeply that if your decisions conflict with each other logically, that you feel an imperative to resolve that. Just do what feels right. You know what I'm saying?
In that moment,
right?
Never look further than half an hour behind you.
I don't like
instant gratification.
I don't like the government involved in my business. However, I do want them to tell you what to do.
Socialism is bad, but don't take away my social security. It's only in the name.
Let's talk about politics.
It's only in the name.
We're bound to have an episode because I'm sure you guys have decided who you're voting for. Nah, I was just being funny. Okay,
we welcome to do Bernie's to Bernie's no presidency.
Yep. Yo, I saw him in a video. I gotta give him snaps or claps for coming back from that heart attack. My man Bernie's not looking too good.
He looks like shit. He looks old.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine. God damn it. Doesn't matter. It's fine.
Well, I'm sure if you're the president, they'll keep you alive with a robot heart.
Yes.
Frank.
Already been doing this. God.
Frank, what you been up to, buddy? Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm a little sick of preparing all these funerals for you, only to learn you actually are still alive.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Robots can get resurrected a lot more easily than you skin bags.
Yeah. That makes sense.
You know, I immediately thought of a scrotum when you said that.
That's what I meant. I was being polite.
We do all have them in this room.
We
Even
do.
If yours is some kind of weird polyurethane.
Silicone. Easier to clean.
Do you remember? Did you guys wait?
Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.
My brain went even further down that rabbit hole, and it doesn't.
Did you guys in health class get those silicone nut sacks so you could practice finding a cancerous mass on your balls?
No.
Yeah, because they're like, fellas, once you're 10 years old, you have to check your balls for cancer. And apparently no guys do that. And they're like, here's an example ball sack. And here's what a cancer nodule feels like. Because, like, you really get to squeezing your nuts. You realize you don't know what's in there. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I know there's parts, but is this what it's supposed to feel like? A lima bean with a wig on? You know? And they're like, well... So they give you something else, and they're like, it's like they put like a rock in there, and they're like, oh, that's cancer. So basically, if you've got 3 balls when you used to have 2, that's when you worry. Anyway, that just reminded me.
Great.
Yep.
Check your balls, ladies.
Check your balls,
ladies
boys.
and gentlemen.
Yep.
Girls and boys.
Check
your balls.
I mean, I've been doing stuff.
Have you graduated yet?
No, that's in May. I was at last weekend. I would have been available, but Lisa and I were on the other side of the country being communists temporarily. And yeah, it's been busy. So luckily I have plenty of time to play video games.
What have you been playing?
So I got into a Paradox hole, I guess. Stellaris. I got the console edition, which is on Game Pass now, which is awesome. Because I really enjoy playing games on my couch, reclined, 5 feet from a beer fridge. And what else? Oh, City Skylines and EU4. But I've also played a lot of Apex and Call of Duty with the new seasons out.
Hit us with whatever you want, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Stellaris is such a sleeper game.
Like it makes you sleepy?
No. Something I think it flew way under the radar
Like a dark horse.
Yeah, like City Skylines was pretty popular just because SimCity, the new SimCity in 2013 was so terrible. I think we talked about that a long time ago about how the release was bad. Nobody really liked the game. It never really went anywhere. And City Skylines filled that hole for a lot of people where it was a much closer successor to SimCity 4, which was like probably one of the most popular, well, definitely the most popular city building game of all times, but one of the most popular, I guess, simulationist type games of the 2000s. And that as well, I've been playing on console, which is a lot of fun. It brought back the ability to have natural disasters like SimCity did, which is some people's favorite part of the game, build up a really nice city and then destroy it with meteors and earthquakes and floods. Theirs, however, I think I talked about this before, also includes random ones that just kind of show up and fuck your city up without much notice and destroy a lot of progress. Anyway, Stellaris is set in space, hence the name Stellaris. You can create your own, I think I talked about this before, where you can create your own race, like species of alien, and you have a huge amount of options that are like cosmetically that are completely irrelevant. But then as far as what your civilization is actually like, you have a huge amount of options as well for how to build them and what their culture is like, what their society is like, what their government's like, what their goals are, their social priorities, all that kind of stuff. And it influences then how you play the game and how you get along with other aliens in the galaxy. I probably the coolest part about the game is how customizable the map and the game start and game conditions are. So I think we talked a few weeks ago, the last time I was here, about EU4, and I know, Bill, you've played that game.
Oh, yeah.
So with EU4, one of the coolest things about the game is when you pick a different country or place to play as, it's not balanced, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you could start off as Poland or France or England, and you are way better than like some random Italian province like Mantua, right? Which has like, England, the country or the kingdom really in EU4 starts out with like several provinces and a ton of army, like a big army and lots of money and all that shit. Well, you could pick a small little place somewhere in Central Europe that has like one province that's really tiny, barely any money, surrounded by really powerful countries that are probably going to declare war on you within like the first 2 years and just swallow you up.
Yeah.
So it's not, Stellaris isn't quite that ridiculous, but you can kind of decide, it's all randomized starts, and there's normally, I think on a smaller medium map, there's like 6 to 10 alien species out there, but you can control how many have an advanced start. So one's like, you start basically the game as a species of alien that just discovered faster than light travel, knows barely anything about the star systems surrounding your current system, and has never met any other aliens. And one of the controlling parts of the game is how many other people you have in there, but also how advanced they are. So you can have people that start well ahead of you and have been maybe spacefaring civilizations for 200 years or 300 years. And yeah, that could make it very difficult if they're not exactly friendly. But the mechanics are really fun because you go around, you survey a bunch of the star systems near you. You have to manage your resources to build, outposts and eventually colonize other planets and get more money, to raise a good army to make sure you can defend yourself or go conquer other things. But the gameplay is very, very stylistically similar to EU4, but in space. And it's different enough that it doesn't feel like exactly the same game.
Do you find it engaging once you make it to like I don't want to say the space age. To me, towards the ass end of the middle part of Stellaris. I know that's a weird way to describe the timeline, but it started to feel like Spore's space age to me. Like there were so many planets, and it was just grinding through pretty much the same thing over and over again. How do you keep engaged when you're like pretty well set up, and then you're trying to expand, and like what do you just get bigger?
So I don't play on extremely large maps for precisely that reason.
Oh, okay.
I think the maps that I play on are like the small to medium, which are somewhere between 600 and 800 stars, with the idea being that every alien species is going to have roughly 100 stars to manage. You know, some are going to be smaller, some are going to be bigger, but 100, and that's not too bad, because if you like, most of them are pretty useless. Like, you find one star system that has like 3 planets, and only one of the planets has anything, and it's like 2 minerals. If you mine it, skip it, move on to the next one. The other thing that I would say, if you find that grind to be annoying, similar to Civ 6. So in Civ 5, the idea was pretty much always grow tall. Not too many cities, make them really big cities, right? Civ 6, there are absolutely no penalties for growing wide, so having as many cities as possible.
That's a game changer. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of the technology threshold.
Well, no, so you still do have that, but it's not as crazy as it was in Civ 5. Like, I think it was like a 30% increase, if I remember right, for each city that you added for Civ 5. So you had to increase your technology, your science research, science per turn, by 33% for each city that you founded. So like, you needed to make big cities because your science was based pretty much primarily on your population. So
right,
you know, you had to do that. But with Civ 6, the penalty isn't as much, and they also made it much easier to get science. Like, they gave you the ability to specialize your cities with districts in Civ 6.
right.
So you had a purpose for having more than 4 cities, because that was generally the strategy in Civ 5, was build 4, maybe 5 or 6 cities, and that's it. And you'd want them to be like 20 to 30 population by the end of the game.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself being overwhelmed by the options in Stellaris and managing all that, just build a smaller, only colonize like 4 planets. Keep yourself to like 50 or 60 stars. Again, you're only going to have to manage 20 of them at that point.
Right.
And once you get to the point, you'll be able to grow them each. Just be careful about the planets that you colonize. You want to make sure that they are all at least 80% habitable and have at least 14 tiles, preferably a little more. And you want to grow them very quickly, and you want to make them big. And then you won't really have too much to manage. You'll mostly be managing the relationships that you have with the other civilizations throughout the galaxy and trying to complete like your objectives, essentially.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So what was there were a couple, continue. You seem like you had.
No.
What about Apex? Tell us about this phenomenon. You said you got some hands-on with that?
Yeah.
Apex Legends?
So I think the last time I was here, I was talking about the train game that they came out with, the 3v3v3. It's 3 teams of 3. They cramped down the map to like probably an 1/8 of the size of what the normal map is. And the idea is there's this train that runs around the map, and there's a bunch of stations that it stops at throughout the map, normally in the Battle Royale mode. But then all over Christmas time, they shortened down the map, and they basically took 3 of the stops for the train, and 3 teams would go in, and you had to either eliminate both other teams or capture the train. And you could only capture it if you and no other team was on it. So it was probably the most fun I've had playing that game. And it was for 2 particular reasons. One, the looting process was out because each day the different legends were randomly assigned weapons. So on Tuesday, there might be the one character might get an assault rifle and a handgun, and on Wednesday it might get a shotgun and a sniper rifle.
Actual days of the week, not in-game days.
Right, okay. Exactly. And it would refresh, I think, somewhere around like 3 a.m., 12 Pacific, right? And so it gave you a couple things. One, you played more, like the more important thing than the legends, which have different small powers and ultimate abilities and whatnot, but for the most part, you're more concerned about the weapons that they have because you use them far more than the abilities. It gave you a really good opportunity to experiment with different legends that you might not normally play as, right? The other thing that it did was it helped you get a lot better at the core gameplay, like the combat gameplay, the gunplay, just because there was no point, like you're not running around looting. You know, the other teams are all spawning close to you, and we're all going for the train.
Yeah, that's a good deal in a shooter because I play gun game a lot in Counter-Strike, and the thing that I enjoy about it is that I play through a variety of guns, right? Because if I played competitive, other than getting stomped on, like I'm not going to pretend like I'm some superstar, but I'd probably find a good setup and then hammer it until I was like, okay, maybe I need to do a different one because this isn't working, but I wouldn't get that variety.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is there's definitely a need to encourage diverse gun usage development in these shooters because there's always a setup that seems to be superior. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And the other thing was, you know, a lot of times, especially, and I really understand this for people who don't play with their friends, right? It's really annoying to play a battle royale game in general, any of them, when you drop in, you're playing with random people that you're not talking to. There's a 50-50 shot you all land together in the first place, or somebody goes cowboy and lands on the other side of the map. You run into another team and you die in 20 seconds, picking up like one crappy gun. You know, this gave you the opportunity to practice a little bit because you landed fully loaded, and it's like, all right, let's see what I can do. It helped get me back into the game because I just wasn't that good at the core gameplay. And then I got the practice on the train game to bring me back into it. And now I'm pretty good.
I had a moment like that yesterday. I've gotten into Blackwake again. Carl, friend of the podcast, and I were on a team. We would play in these tournaments and our team sort of dissolved. And he's on a new one. He's like, bro, you should get back on. They had a sale. They were selling it for $2 each. And, I get on this little ship, and it's like if you shoot it like 4 times, it sinks. So you got to repair it quickly, but it's really fast and it's really small. And like it only works if you have really good teammates. And we were on it, and we were kind of sucking because at first we weren't working together. But there's like 7 of us, and 4 of us are elites, meaning we're level 500 plus. And then we finally started gelling. And I haven't been on a ship that worked like this in like 2.5 years, just because you're in with a bunch of randos, different skill levels, and like a lot of these guys just want to fuck around, you know, just blasting off cannons and like you said, it is so nice when you're in an environment where you can work together. And like Carl's, I love Carl, but he tells me to join in games and then he doesn't talk to me. I'm just on his ship, like, you know, carrying the whole team on my back. Well, he's over there. I'll be like, Carl, you're too quiet. And you hear him like eating fucking carrots and potato chips. So do you play Apex Legends on console or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I play on console.
Is there crossplay?
It is.
Ooh.
It is. We don't play on crossplay though. Same thing like Call of Duty is crossplay. I don't do that shit. It's to the chance of running in to people on PC that will just wreck you because they have a mouse and keyboard is no, it's not dealing with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just debuted season 2 actually for Apex and put out a new legend, which is a robot assassin.
Oh my God, it's you!
It's very edgelord though. I'm not a fan.
Oh, okay.
I don't like all the edgelord stuff, and this guy's like, he talks like this.
Yeah. My life is hard because I'm a synth.
Yeah.
I'll never know love. Don't mess with me or you mess with the devil's fury.
I mean, that honestly sounds like something he would say. You know, and I'm just like, I like every time that, like, because they have it for Apex, like some of the things you get from the like battle pass and the loot stuff and all that's all their loot crates is the like kill quips and intro quips. So if you're like the top ranked person, they'll debut that. Everyone in the match, like you'll see there'll be a screen after you all pick your characters. There'll be a screen that says, this is your team and this is the champion. And like the person that's highlighted that had the most kills and that won their last match will put like be center of the screen and highlighted as like, this is the champion. And their character, like you can choose a little quip that they will say when they introduce them. And yeah, the Revenant ones, that's the name of the guy, they're all so edgelordy.
Well, I mean, it hits the audience, right?
Yeah, I mean, a good portion of the audience is, 10 to 16 years old, so they eat that up.
I've been reflecting recently on how glad I am to not be that age anymore.
Oh God, it's the best.
Like, I work with a lady, Andrea. She sits across from me, and she has a 15-year-old son, and like she tells me, he's like, yeah, he sleeps like 18 hours a day. He doesn't do he won't get up and do some simple thing to make his life easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I remember being 15.
Yeah.
You wanted to sleep, you didn't want to do shit. Like, I don't miss it.
No.
I miss the lack of responsibility, but I don't miss being 15, 16.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I mean, the game's great. The new season's good. They redid the map a little bit, just kind of changed a few things around. There were some choke points that needed to be addressed, so they did that. And I think they've rounded out the cast now. There are now 16 legends that you can pick from, which is a great amount because you only take 3, right, per game.
Are there really 16 viable legends, or is it just like you're really going to pick of the 5?
That's tough for me to answer. I would say no. I would say they all have their place. They're all pretty well balanced. And I could definitely say that because, you know what? I'll definitely say that because I know so many people that are pretty good at the game, and they all swear by different ones. There's definitely there's 2 that come to mind. Gibraltar, Jib, which is a guy that is like, he takes less damage, and then he can call in an airstrike, and he can also drop a dome shield.
Is he a big, disgusting, fat pig?
He's large and fat, but he's like Samoan.
Okay, so he's not like Roadhog or whatever the fuck he is in Overwatch, who literally has a pig's head skin that you can staple to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, he's a big guy, like a big Hawaiian guy, basically. Yeah. And then Pathfinder is another really popular one, which is a robot that has a grapple, and you can
my favorite.
He can grapple around, and then you can also drop a zip line from place to place to move pretty quick. So they're like, those are probably the 2 most popular, but it's pretty well balanced. Like I use a lot of different characters. I'll bounce around.
Interesting. Chris, you were playing Apex for a little while.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, are you still on it?
Nah, not really.
What made you fall out?
I suck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is. Yeah. It is hard. I mean, you got to practice, and it's tough to get the practice because you drop in and you might die immediately.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. And like Frank was saying, like a lot of times, like you don't always get like that weapon configuration that you're really good with. So I wasn't getting the practice with all the different guns. Like if you drop me in with a Mozambique piece of shit, I'm gonna suck with it. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know how to survive with that, and people do.
Right. Is there how's the wait time? Because Counter-Strike apparently now has a Battle Royale mode, which I was like, oh, I'll check it out,
It sucks.
For the content. They're like 6.5 minute wait. I said, fuck that, buddy.
It's
not even worth it.
Yeah, Apex is pretty much instant. Every match. You join, you're ready to go.
Wait, have you played the CS:GO Battle Royale?
Yeah, I don't like it.
You did play it.
It's really boring.
What do you do?
It's a battle royale. You pretty much try to gather up points so that you can unlock crates to find like your weapons and stuff. And it's just not a good map for it. Are the mechanics still the same as the Counter-Strike game? Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, all right. Because Counter-Strike doesn't have like attachments and body armor to put on. That's like interesting. It's more like
it's all the same.
It's more like James Bond. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anything else about Apex there, Frank? Because I know you teased a little bit about Call of Duty.
Yeah. Right? No, I mean, look, season 2's out. I've been playing ranked more this season already. I have a higher rank than I did in the last season.
What's your rank? 666?
No,
I mean 69.
So they go by. I mean, I barely played. I probably played 10 ranked games in all of last season. Mm-hmm. My friends normally didn't want to play. This I've played enough to get to the top of the bronze list, And I'm like the next match that I play, I'm like 5 points away from getting to the silver list. So I'll probably get that tonight. And I expect by next weekend I have a 3-day weekend, so I'm going to be hitting it hard, and I'll probably get close to gold. I think I'll probably end up. It's tough because the way it works is you enter a game, and at the bronze level, you don't have to pay any points to get into a game, right? You just enter a game, and anything that you get will bump you up. You only get points if you get in the top 10 or you get any kills, and then top 5 gets you more, top 3, 2, 1 gets you, if you win, you get a lot more. And then you get points for kills as well. But once you hit the higher level leagues, you have to pay points to get in. So you might pay 20 points to get in. You get eliminated immediately with no kills. You just lost 20 points. Eventually, you're going to get bumped back down.
The real question for the integrity of this game, can you buy those points with real money?
No.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a stand-up move.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much other stuff that you can buy with real money in that game. I don't... that would ruin the game 100% because you just have people paying $100 to get to the... But also, how would that be any fun? You pay $100 to go play people that are way better than you so that you get bumped back down.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you jump in with your favorite streamer and stream snipe them.
Maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah.
What about Call of Duty? You're doing something with that.
So, season 2 came out for that one as well. This weekend they just released. They did a big Valentine's Day weekend thing where they renamed all the playlists date-themed things, which I thought was actually funny. Nice of them to humor people a little bit. I started really appreciating it with I don't remember if it was Apex. It might have been Fortnite, actually. I don't remember which game started doing it, but really drawing on we're going to put out updates often enough and just update the menu theme and stuff like that. Maybe just little textures around the world to say, well, hey, it's Christmas time. Okay, now it's Valentine's Day. Pretty soon it'll be, I don't know, whatever's next,
Arbor Day.
Yeah, exactly. For Earth Day, they'll have lots of extra trees or something like that. Yeah, sure, fine, whatever. Just, keep it fresh so that you're not looking at the same thing. Because when you get to playing these games for hours and hours on end, looking at the same menu and all that shit, it starts to get a little old. It just keeps it a little bit more fresh when they update that shit. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. Don't remember what game started it. It was definitely one of these Battle Royale games most recently, and I appreciate that they put that little bit of effort in. It makes me want to come back a little bit more.
If I had to guess, it'd be Fortnite.
Yeah, probably.
Because those devs have been super involved with the community because it's a free game.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So. But yeah, my favorite thing they brought, I think I talked about the tournaments that they did, the 2v2 tournaments. They brought that back for this weekend, so I was playing that. Finally got to the finals and lost against 2 people on PC.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here's my question. I still don't have a real Battle Royale game. I haven't picked it up because they look like such a rabbit hole to fall down. I stink at Counter-Strike on my server, but I can hang in there most of the time. I know that if I go to Fortnite or the military Arma pub, Arma Beer G, I'm gonna get wrecked for weeks on end. Is there one that's worth picking up?
Dude, just grab Apex. It's free.
Grab Apex. Yeah. No, it's though I suck and haven't played it in a while, it's a really good game.
Okay.
It's well done. It is well done. It does all of the little things right, and the core gameplay is fun, and it comes at the great cost of $0.
Mm-hmm.
So tough to argue with that,
And if you want the skins and all that other shit, you get these packs for going through playing games and shit. So they're also pretty generous and giving you all that shit that also comes at a financial price as well. So
okay.
you do get a pretty good balance of all of that stuff. So I never paid a cent, and I never was compelled to pay a cent to that.
Right.
I paid $10 to get the coins for the battle pass in season 1, but then I earned enough of the premium currency to buy it again for season 2.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I only ever had to pay the $10 once.
So the battle pass is new content?
Oh, it's all cosmetics.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Well, thanks for that diverse review, Frank.
Yeah, I've been putting a lot of time into the box recently. I want to play more PC games, because I can't remember what I bought the other. Oh, I picked up Rainbow Six Siege, which is a lot of fun, and this absurd game called Overcooked. If you've ever played that,
I have not. I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
Amazing.
I also haven't played Rainbow Six Siege. I downloaded it, and I'm like, "Do you have 65 gigs of space?" I'm like, "I don't right now." So.
Siege is fun. I've only played about 5 hours of it so far, but it's very, very interesting just because it's so strategic and it's very slow paced compared to any other first person shooters. I don't know that much about it yet. Similar to like an Apex, you can pick different characters, operators, and they have different abilities and different loadouts and whatnot, different guns that they can use. I haven't noticed a huge difference between any of them. Like one guy will have barbed wire, another guy will have a camera that you can set up and watch in a hallway. But the map design is incredible in that game.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Hands down the best part about it. They're very interesting locations. Like one is a bank with a bunch of attached offices. And the whole idea is it's all like all other Rainbow Six games. There's a team of essentially terrorists. It's almost like a Counter-Strike game. Team of terrorists with bombs, team of operators trying to defuse those bombs or kill the other team, And one of the things that I probably like most about it is the amount that the 3D nature of the map plays into it, because you can rappel up and down the walls and you can like go in through any window.
Whoa.
You can go up, like the one thing has a bunch of windows on the roof, like the ones, where they like there's a little bit of a wall that rises to about chest height and then has like the angled glass on top of it. You can break through that and rappel down the middle.
Whoa.
Yeah, and just like drop right into the balcony.
Oh, that's crazy.
What I've been able to gather about that game is that it's just a more sophisticated Counter-Strike.
Yes, I would say
In
that's
most
very
ways.
accurate. I would say that's very accurate.
Yeah. Like breaking through walls and shit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Big thing is like breaching walls, barricading doors, and then same thing like reinforcing walls. So like the whole idea is when you're on defense, right? I guess in Counter-Strike terms, the terrorist team, your whole goal is to push the attacking team in a direction that you want them to go. But it's difficult. You only have like 30 seconds to prepare your defenses. So like it's very difficult to coordinate that well enough to get them to make sure that they come a particular way that you want them to go. A lot of times there's always like that one spot that they can still come through that you're not expecting them to. Because like they can breach the ceiling and then drop down from the ceiling, or even just blow a hole through the floor so that they can just shoot you. Like they don't have to come down. They just get a line of sight on where you are and they can just shoot you through the floor or through the, up through the ceiling or something like that. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's very nuts. Very fun just because it's very intense. And there's always, like, you're sitting there on defense, especially, and you're like, oh my God, where are these guys going to come from? There's like a wall over here that they could breach. This one's reinforced, so it should be good there. There's a door over here that we've barricaded, but they could shoot through that barricade. Like it gets nuts. But it's fun.
That's bananas.
And I think it was on sale for like $7 on Xbox.
It goes on sale all the time on Steam.
Yeah.
We've covered it or glossed over it on many Steam sales.
Yeah, it's probably one of those. They're like, oh, numbers getting a little low. Let's pump in some more users.
Yeah.
What's this Overcooked, Mama?
Oh my God. Overcooked is a game that you should definitely play while you're high. Mm-hmm. It's definitely the most intense game I've ever played. No, that's false, but it feels like it when you're playing it. It's a very simple, very fun, very cartoony game. You are like, you cook food, and it's very simple. There are generally like 3 to 4 people in a little like kitchen map, right? And the maps get nuts, right? It's like it starts out where you're in a kitchen and there's like a place that has food, like the raw ingredients, And yeah, you can see it here. A place that has food and raw ingredients, and then another place that has like plates and whatnot, and like a pan or an oven or any, something that cooks something. And the idea is you take the vegetables and you chop them up and you put them in the pan, and then you have to go take, I don't know, chicken and put that in the oven and then combine them all into the same plate and get it over to the area where you serve it. But like if you look at the maps, like you have to coordinate with other people. So like one person has to do one thing and the other person has to do the other thing. And then it gives you orders of what you're supposed to make. So there's normally like 3 things like on the menu basically that can be ordered. And you have to coordinate with the other people you're playing with. Like, okay, you need to go chop these vegetables. I'm going to go clean these plates. You need to go take all these chopped vegetables and put them in the oven. And then once I'm done cleaning the plates, I'll come back and pick up the chopped vegetables and put them in the pan. And I'll bring that plate back to you so you can go serve it.
This sounds like somebody was like, you know what? I like the Mario Party games, but I like these couple, and I don't want the rest of the game.
Right, exactly.
Which, I mean, is the best part of Mario Party.
Yeah.
Aside from winning at the end after being the loser the whole time on some bonus stars. But yeah, we're checking it out. It's definitely that, like, I wouldn't say it's lo-fi, but it's that
cartoony, like sort of kind of cell shading 3D, but it's a top-down isometric angle. Yeah,
we're seeing this a lot in indie games, and that's like we said, it's totally fine because this game seems to really run on the gameplay as its major strength. And this reminds me of that game that came out. I don't think we've ever played, but we've probably all seen it at some point. It's Keep Talking and Nobody Dies. So it's like you get a team of like 3 or 4 of your friends, and you each can see a certain part of a bomb. And one person's trying to defuse it, and like I would be reading the instructions on like this one panel of the bomb. It's like cut the blue wire and cut the white wire, but not the red wire. And then we finish my section, and then you would turn the bomb as the timer goes down, and then Frank would read his section to you. So we all have different rules. Really, it's a cool use of teamwork and our internet, and this looks like the same sort of thing, a teamwork mechanic that really adds a lot of fun. Now,
yeah, it gets super intense, especially because you can see, so for those who cannot see, the maps move, so it could be like a hot air balloon with moving sections where like the different places move around, or there might be like, icebergs. You might be on like icebergs, and then there's like a floating iceberg that moves in between. So to get from one area to the other, you have to wait for that iceberg to line up with where you are, and then walk across it. But then the path will be blocked. It's super, super intense, but it's a lot of fun. The campaign itself is, it definitely doesn't take itself too seriously. There's a lot of puns, You use the the Necron nom 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 to raise the on bread.
Wow.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Wowie.
Puns are the lowest form of humor.
They're still great.
There's an Overcooked 2, evidently.
I think that's the one that we actually got. It was free on Game Pass.
Okay.
So, same
idea.
Yeah.
More sophisticated, maybe.
Now, do you play it? You play it on your console?
Yeah.
Now, does this have crossplay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because now I'll get this and we could play together. Because you'll play crossplay on this. It's not a shooter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Pretty neat. On Steam, they're $16.99 and about $25 for the sequel, which is not egregious, although
it's a little high.
If you're paying $0 for it, then
right.
Is it worth the $17 to buy the first one?
17 is probably right at the end of the range for what I would pay.
Yeah.
I'd like to pick it for around the 10 to 12 mark, just because it's not a game that I would play by myself.
Okay.
We got this game to diffuse a couple of weeks in a row where we just really hammered Halo 5 and Apex, and we all got like, especially on Halo, we were really hammering Halo for a couple of weeks. And we got, like, one of my friends got to Diamond 6 in Halo for Team Slayer, which is the ranking, which is one below the Onyx level where you are giving an actual rank in the playlist of all of the players that play.
No shit.
So Onyx in Halo is the top 2,500 people that play.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And he was one rank away from getting somewhere. He was probably in the top 3,000 basically of that play the game still, which is not that many. And we started playing the freaks, and they would just wreck us. And then he went all the way back down to Diamond 2. So he just plummeted. So we had a couple of weeks where we'd be playing against people who would just absolutely smoke us, and it got boring. We needed something different, and we didn't just want to play another shooter. This kind of, gave us something to relax with, especially it hit like 1:30. Maybe we're all a little too drunk or high to really put a lot of effort into anything. This is the perfect entertainment to just relax and have a good time and not try too hard.
I'm gonna check it out, baby.
But again, single player, I wouldn't play it by myself. So that kind of limits how much you're going to play it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Frank, for, you know what? You came back strong. You might have disappeared into
strong like bull.
Yes, like that. Or like like the stench of a rank fart. Very strong.
That was me last night for sure.
Did you have a fucking 2 IPAs and a milkshake again?
No, that would put me out of commission.
Fucking savage.
And give me the worst diarrhea.
We know you've done it 5 times on the show.
Not live on air.
Yeah. I bet he'd get money for that. Somebody'd be like, "Oh, this is heinous. I'm into it."
No, I ate Mexican food yesterday. That just gave me gas.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm getting more and more woke as each second travels by, and I realize that eating another country's food is an act of colonial oppression. So, Frank, you have some apologizing to do.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you're
I'm sorry I'm white.
Good, thank you.
My creators were
Are you sorry you're male? You should be sorry for that too.
Yeah, bro, I'm personally upset about it.
Technically, as a robot, I have no gender, and you assumed it. So
shit, he got us. He countered us perfectly.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. But then isn't your whiteness also a construct?
You're not accidentally white either. You chose it. You are the devil.
No, I was created that way, unfortunately, and it was very, very mean of my creators, just because, it wasn't a good choice.
Okay. It's interesting that you were created in a factory, but you still need to wear glasses. I wonder, were you made in North Korea? Perhaps you're a North Korea bot.
Nope.
Right next to their missiles.
Kim Jong bot.
Yeah, Kim Jong bot.
I have
Bot
adaptive
Jong-il.
optics that are integrated into my eyeballs.
It's just an aesthetic choice.
Dude.
Why are you hating on the man's style, Bill?
Okay, so I have glasses that I don't wear because my vision's not that bad. And I lost them, and I don't want to order more from China because I think we're still in a trade war. But I had these big, stupid aviators because I don't like to turn my head in order to see. So I just got the biggest lenses I could. And people would always be like, "Are those real lenses?" I was like, "Yes." Like, you think I'm just aesthetically looking like this? Because some people were like, "Man, that's a good look. I like those. They're clear aviators, And other people were like, "Man, I like that aesthetic. You look like a child kidnapper who drives a van with those glasses." And unfortunately, someone Googled some serial killer from the 90s, and yeah, we look like twins. So they're like, "Oh, are those fake?" Like, I would not choose to look this way. I stumbled into it, and then now I want to see. But yeah, I went in for LASIK. I was like, fuck this. I got a real job now, big boy job. I won't eat for a couple weeks. I'll get my eyes fixed. And they're like, "Nah, dude, get out of here. Your eyesight's too good. Like, it's not shitty enough for lasers. You're what we hope to get people's shitty vision to." I was like, "Oh man." So I went in for contacts, and dude's like, "Yeah, your contacts aren't going to work either." So I said, "Fine." See, I'm like, I'm the victim here.
My vision has always been shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And my first pair of glasses were those big clear aviators because my dad had them in the 90s. And I was like, I want to look like him. And, they were big and lame.
Except you were probably 9 years old in the well, your dad's not that short, but you were still probably the same height as him.
No. But I mean, no, I've gone with a little more aesthetic thing. And like, yeah, my full field of view isn't in focus, when I'm wearing these things. But newsflash, no one's is. Human eyes are kind of shitty.
What?
Yeah, they are.
Shitty.
Sorry, everyone who likes to be like, oh, the intricacies of the human eye, it's so grand and magnificent, and like octopuses have better. Like each of our eyeballs can focus on one reasonably small area, and our brain fills in the rest with, it's fucking blurry.
Can you imagine?
Fucking blurry. So yeah, I have a perimeter of more blurry vision, but it's not any more blurry than if I'm just not looking at something through my glasses. And all I need that frame of reference for is to, look. I'm pretty good with my peripheral vision, okay? I use a lot of it. Whether I'm walking through hallways, rounding corners, trying not to bump into people, to ducking stuff people throw at me in gym class, to driving on the road. Like it's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
So,
Are you reading a book out of the corners of your eyes?
Well, I read 2 books at once, and one of them's in Latin.
Oh.
So yes. And by books, I mean pornography magazines.
Oh.
Do you remember that song, Apple Bottom Jeans?
Yes. Boots with the fur.
Yeah, and then he's like, I had to fold her like a pornography poster. I'm like, I have never in my life seen a pornography poster. Have you?
The closest I can think of are like the fold outs in like Playboy or whatever.
Yeah, but even then, like, you don't rip them out.
Jake, you definitely have seen. Oh, maybe not. Our one roommate, I guess he technically moved out because you took his room, was notorious for having lots of porn, like Playboy centerfold cutouts.
Centerfold, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But he would take them out of the magazine and put them on the wall?
Yep.
That I've heard of.
Okay. I guess my issue, just like other things, comes down to the definition of porn. Like, I've seen those ones where it's like 17 girls next to a soapy car wearing thongs and you can see all their butts or whatever. I've seen guys with those up on the wall, but I wouldn't call that porn. I'd hardly even call, like, if you were like, is Playboy porn? I'd say no, because there's like, it's just a naked person. There's never like, it's not hardcore. I think
the same thing in National Geographic.
Yeah, I think you got to get hardcore in order to be porn, and I've never seen one of those posters.
You put a lot of thought into this.
Well, yeah,
more than me.
Because that goddamn song was so popular. Like a pornography poster.
The only thing that I remember from that was the Reeboks with the straps, which I always thought to myself, who wore those other than like 50-year-old men?
I thought it was like, I thought it was those basketball shoes where you would like, you'd lace it up and then you'd have a strap across. Mm-hmm. Okay. I had a pair of those for no good reason.
Now, would you call those strap-ons?
Yeah. I got to say I was a big fan of strap-ons. I wore I was like a young man. I wore the strap-ons as much as I possibly could. I wore it out to parties and people were like, yo, you do have nice straps on. And I was like, thanks, man. I just, it feels right. So, all right. So Chris, when we come back, you want to talk to us a little bit about your game Guru?
Yeah.
Because I've seen you.
Wow. Cancel Chris.
Chris is canceled.
Bye.
You white devil. All right. We'll catch us on the flip side. Welcome back. Chris, how's you going with the Game Guru? Now, we talked at length about this last week.
Yes.
And I put in about 5 times as much time watching videos about Game Guru as I did actually using it. And just for a quick review, it's basically a nice UI user interface for designing levels, and you don't even have to touch code if you don't want to. Now, I've seen you on there. I've seen you messing about.
I've been messing.
What are your thoughts?
It's really, really easy to pick up the basics. If my dumbass can do it, anybody can do it. It's very simple. It came with a really good amount of assets to create, a first-person shooter level with. The size of the map is huge, so you have a really, really good amount of space to really. You can do a huge open world map, or you can just build one big ass building and just go through the building. So you're given plenty of options in terms of your space and what you could put on the map. There's a tool to doing terrain at first seems like pretty intimidating, but the tools that they give you to do it make it very quick and very simple. For example, like if you wanted to, like what I'm kind of doing is blocking off the area that I want the play area to be with like mountains and shit, so that they can't really like leave the area. So I'm like, okay, I'll just do the one row of mountains and it's fine. But so I'm like, let me try to do some of the stuff behind it too, and kind of build up some stuff around there. And it was like really quick, and I was able to add like all this like depth to it. I was just like, oh, that was completely effortless, and I made it look like somewhat realistic for an extreme beginner. When I picked it up, it came with the sci-fi pack, and it's like enough to make like a level on Mars. So it comes with environment skins for Mars, characters for Mars, weapons that are like sci-fi, and all that stuff. You can do a zombie game, as we can see on here. It reminds me a lot of 7 Days to Die. It looks kind of similar. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the assets were in the same place.
Yeah.
Then, so I started watching some of the guys' videos, like you mentioned, and they were incredibly helpful. And within probably about 3 hours, I was comfortable in like at least putting things in the map and just creating something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just like, okay, here's like a little bit of a level, so let me try to add some music, which ended up being a little bit of a struggle because at that point you have to start using some of the coding and messing with some of the scripting. But even that is very easy. He made it very, very easy to go in and, edit however you want the characters and stuff to interact and go about
A
their
quick
business.
question. You were messaging me and you said there seemed to be a file size limit on the music. Did you ever figure that out?
No. So that wasn't it. I actually had to change a script so what you'll do is, so you would drop up to, if say you wanted to add sound, so in our case, music, you would drop down a trigger on the map so that like once you cross the trigger, the music will start. So I was like, oh, okay. And then sound source, dropped the file of whatever the sound I wanted it to be in, went about it, kept on trying, would not work. Eventually found out that even though it is a sound trigger, you still need to change a script in there. But they give you all of these predefined scripts already. You just got to kind of find the right one. And then you could even go into WordPad and edit them further to your liking.
Yeah.
But the basic functions that you're looking for probably are all pre-done for you. You just have to know when to put them in and when not to put them in.
So how did you end up making a Mars level? Because I thought you were starting off with some medieval stuff.
Well, I started doing that, but then I was just like, let me just mess around with some of these other skins, and then like I found like the Mars, terrain, and I was figured out how to change the sky and everything from the default setting, which is in a weird place because you have to go into game test mode to change like the environment skins. But I'll get into that in a second. So I had that and I was like, we got the sci-fi pack. And then next thing I knew, I made it like a path and I was like, oh, cool. Here's an alien temple. Let me put this here. And then I started putting little things along the way, some enemies along the way. And then next thing I knew, I had this enormous level, but it's just vastness at this point. So then I started building a building, and building a building actually ended up being very easy. which I was actually a little bit intimidated about. I was just like, all right, so what if I want to have like an indoor level?
Yeah, how did you do that? Because I plopped a building down and I couldn't get in it.
No, so there is actually a builder mode.
No shit.
So there's a whole separate builder mode. So I lay down my foundation, walls, and then I was just like, I don't know what to make this look like. So I just went and looked up apartment floor plans and made an apartment floor plan.
That's
and then I was
fucking
like,
cool.
So and then you just hit page up, next level, page up, next level, page up, next level. So you get like, I'm pretty sure you get an infinite number of levels. So we can do like 1,000 floor building.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, and it's really, really. If my dumb ass can do it, so can you.
Man,
I usually struggle with these kinds of things, but I don't know what this game just made sense.
Yeah.
Or this game creator made sense for me. And I really I enjoyed my time making things, and I want to finish this level more.
Yeah. So we were talking about it, and we're trying to figure out how to actually share the file. Now, if you and I were actually writing like software, we could use a remote repository like GitHub. Basically what it is you throw your code up there. Anybody can pull it down. If they make changes, they can push it back up, and then you can review it. And you say, if their code's good, you go, okay, I'm going to merge their code with my code. I don't know if there's anything like that with this.
I think we just have to, it would have to end up in our case with this, we would have to like kind of work on it one at a time, and then just send the file over when we're done doing our portion of it.
I think the secret might be to use Dropbox.
Yeah.
Because you can actually put big files up there. I don't know if there's like a type limitation, but like messaging it back and forth could get really, really tough. You know what? I wish there was a way that we could set up a server with like a shared Steam account so that we could just log into this server at different times and like pretend to be the same person.
I don't see why you couldn't.
Well, because I'm stupid. You know, I'm not
stupid.
I'm just not smart.
Stupid. You're a stupid boy.
But so
I mean to say that there's like a way to do it.
Yeah. How any big revelations, anything that was exciting, anything that sort of surprised you in like a negative way?
There is one thing that's like kind of annoying to me, and I don't know if it's my computer or if it's just the game or the program, is when you're trying to place an asset, it's like frame rate drop goes right into the shitter.
No way.
And I can't tell if it's just like moving it slowly so that you can place the asset properly. Like if am I zoomed out way too far? Because usually when I pick up an asset, it's like way smaller than you think it is. Because again, the map is huge. Yeah. So when there's nothing on it, scale is really tough to see until you start like actually putting stuff down.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this. Like, I have a similar issue with the scroll speed. When I was watching the guy do it in the video, his was way quicker. Mm-hmm. Mine was like mole asses.
Hold shift.
I do. Even then, it's like really slow for me.
I've noticed too, it depends on like which camera mode you're in. So if you're in overhead versus free flight, it moves at way different speeds. That could be it. If you hold down your left and right mouse buttons, it's a lot easier to move around, and I feel like you move around a lot quicker in conjunction with your arrows and everything to get around on the map. So
very interesting.
But like that actually took a little bit for me to get used to. But then once I figured out which one was which, I'm like flying all over the map.
What he's saying, Bill, is get good or get wrecked.
I think that's
scrub.
Whoa, dude! What the fuck, man? Everybody thinks I'm the cool guy, but now you're making me not cool.
Cool guy McGillicuddy over here.
So are you just sort of rocking through this level design, or do you have like a game in mind?
Well, now that I got like my feet wet and like okay, like I know how to place things down, I know how to map things out, I know how to build a building. I'm probably try to make a couple levels or something.
Very cool. And
I got some music written too that I'm throwing into it, because I finally was using my own shit when I figured out how to get it to work, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun, so I'm gonna like try to do like a conjunction thing.
So you and I we gotta touch base.
You can answer your text messages once in a while.
I do. I do. I just answer them much, much later. So
24 hours.
Yeah, well, you text me. I'm doing something. I'm like driving or something.
Having a wank.
Yeah, that's it.
Also, yes.
I've
For
been
24
I've been
hours.
putting a tow hitch bar on my Corolla, and it's been an adventure because you're supposed to put it in these holes, these threaded holes with these bolts they give you, but they were all rusted because my car is 10 years old. So I got this thing this thread cutter, and I used that, and it worked on the front ones, but the back ones, I don't know if the bolts are dull or whatever. So anyway, that's been taking up a lot of my time, old pal. I'm laying underneath in my car trying to make it tow a trailer, and now I have to build the trailer. So I know that
I thought it was just a defensive tool for parallel parking.
No, I'm okay at that. I always hit the curb first. But that's part of the great thing about driving a car from 2011. Like, if somebody were to scuff it up, I was like,
That's the same boat I'm
I
in.
mean, whatever. I just got underneath of it, like there was a rattling, and it was a heat shield around my exhaust, and I just ripped that fucker out. Problem solved. I don't know if I need to shield anything from heat, but it's not anymore, and it's not making a noise, so who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck?
4 die in highway fire.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
4 at 11.
So, yeah, but I have an idea. The more I was ruminating on it, because I think I was sort of overwhelmed mentally of like designing a level and a story. I really like this dumbass idea where we have like somebody microwaves a fork and it fucks up the time space, and then we have medieval wizards and shit with like operators from current era. And the big hook that I was thinking is like, guns are still guns, but magic is nearly as powerful, right? So like you could be an operator and use different weapons, or you could be a wizard and you train up, and it's just like, I see a low level enemy, I explode his head, right? So try to give parity through that direction.
Basically trying to justify all the stock assets in Game Guru
Oh yeah.
existing in the same.
And now that you're telling me about Mars, it could be like we merged to Mars too. The aliens are here, and we go up, and they're all like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
If you got the same pack that I did, there's also like Taj Mahal looking buildings, so we can put like the Taj Mahal on Mars.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Space Mahal, the Mars Mahal.
We just get your ass to Mars.
Oh my god, this is gonna be so
Occupy
dumb.
Mars.
Yeah. I want to go to Mars and like all the aliens are like super baked. They're just like smoking weed, and we're like, "We will kill the invaders." And they're like, "What?" So we just fucking smoking everybody on Mars. They want to eat our brains.
I mean, we're pretty hungry.
Want some
Are your
Taco
brains covered in
Bell?
cheese dust?
All right, Chris, any final words on Game Guru Suru?
If you've ever wanted to learn what goes into like at least the basic aspect of what goes into making a game, this is a good place to start. It's pretty cheap, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Very
Find it
cool.
to be a lot of fun.
Now I've picked up another game. Yeah, when we were that last Steam sale where we were all like, "Holy shit, this looks dope!" I did get everything on sale. I spent $100. I just got everything. And, I got For the King, which I'll review next time because I played that a little bit, like 20 hours, and then I moved on to the game I'm going to talk about now, which is Autonauts, not to be mixed up with Autocrats, which is what I accidentally called it in text. And can someone define autocrat for me? Because I'm really not sure.
Like a dictator.
Oh, okay. So anyhow, Autonauts is like, I guess it's like Factorio in that you can set up big automated systems. You have simple robots or machines that can do a specific task that you show them. And in this one, you're like, you colonize a planet, and then you use the resources to build different kinds of robots. And then you use the robots to automate tasks so that you don't have to build tools all the time. You don't have to cut down trees. And the premise is you're getting it ready for colonists, and you grow the colonists from colonist seeds, and then you put them in little huts, and you feed them, and they give you colonist WUV, which are little hearts when you meet their basic needs. First level's like food, second level's food and shelter, third's food, shelter, and clothes. And they give you more WUV as you go up, and you use the WUV as research. You can upgrade stuff. I mean, it's pretty, like, think of like a basic crafting system, and this has all that stuff. The art style is cartoony. It's cute. It really reminds me of Pikmin with all the different sound effects, like walk in and. I actually ended up turning it off, and because I was like, it's cute sometimes, but after a while, I'm just gonna watch The West Wing instead, which is what I do. So I just turn the sound off. And there's all sorts of alarms, and like this is my first playthrough, so a lot of my robots are like breaking. They go or whatever the fuck sound they make, and I'm like, I don't want to hear you anymore. I'll get to you in 30 hours. But there's a whole system of you basically research different items that you can craft. You put the WUV on it. You unlock new things. You use that to build new like workbenches. You build storage pallets and grain silos, and you can move them wherever, but you need logs and the big hook of the game is you can build a robot and they have a set amount of memory. So they say it's like 8 kilobytes, I think, is the first level of robot. Really, so you can give it 8 different commands. So you can say, it watches you to learn what you do. So you walk over to like a storage bin. It goes, move to this storage bin, take item out of bin, walk to this location, and you can do something like walk to the nearest blueberry bush in this zone that you can highlight, and there's a maximum size, and then use held item, and then you can loop through it on different conditions. Like, do you want to loop through it forever? Do you want to loop through it until, I typically do until my hands are empty, because the item that your robot's using breaks, and then after that it exits that loop, and then you can have it go fetch another item from that same bin that you used before, and you nest that all in these different loops. And it is actually a really, really, really consumable way to do what are called for loops in programming, which I use all the time. It's like it's like you take this set of data and you iterate through it. So like, let's say I have 50 elements and I want to check them for some value. You say, okay, at this position, as long as that position is not outside of the array of data, which would break it, do this. Once you reach the end, stop. It's conditional. And you do that all the time in this game. So it'll be like, is the storage full? Are my hands empty? Are my hands full? Do I need supplies? And the other thing is the robots run out of energy and you got to charge them. Well, you could just get charge bots. So you just show the robot how to charge them, and then you get a charge bot to charge that charge bot. So you get 2 charge bots in a zone. And I probably put like 25 hours in this fucking thing. It's like $8 when I bought it, and I'm really enjoying it. Now, the first playthrough, I'm kind of just like muddling my way through, but there is a lot of theory that you could get into. Like, Frank, you would finger blast this thing. You do some reading, you'd be like, well, obviously, this is the course you're supposed to take, and you can optimize your resources this way. But it continues to entertain me. And it's one of those things, like, if you really pay attention to it, you can get deep into it, make your system really efficient. I, on the other hand, just continue to build robots. And I'm like, okay, this task, this one fucked up, I'm going to split it in half and have 2 robots do it. So it's even simpler. And you can, I have some cows right now. All I know is they wanted to be inside of a penned area with grass. I don't milk them, I just have them, and I'll deal with them later. I've got piggos. No, not pigs. I have sheeps. I have that later. Right now, my colonist, when you first get them, before you put them in any hut, they're little teeny babies. And they go, make baby noises. Did I mention I muted it and I listened to The West Wing instead? And then they go into this crude hut and they get a little bigger. They look like toddlers. And then you put them in front of like a straw hut, and then they're just giant babies. It is very strange, cutesy art style. For me, I don't need it. But if you're into cutesy stuff, hey, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Liesler, this might be right up your alley. But most exciting thing is I want to play through the game and see how everything behaves without reading too much on it. Like I want to get the feel for it, because this has a lot of the functionality that I would like seen added to 7 Days to Die. Like I would love it if in 7 Days to Die we could build a little robotman who can do 10 commands over and over again in a zone. So you can be like, I don't want to mine this ore anymore. You do it, Mr. Robot Man. And it might take forever, but we don't have to worry about it. Or you can be like, okay, in this zone, build walls, and then you can have another one build the floors and stuff. So there's also different storage containers. You can upgrade them to be like bigger capacity. You can have them be mobile. And there are trains, and I haven't unlocked those yet, but that was a big thing I was talking about wanting in 7 Days to Die. Like a train where you can just put like 100,000 items. Just be like, fuck it.
Wouldn't a better use of the robot be like, if you see zombie, then shoot zombie?
Yeah. But I mean, if...
But that is a more...
And then you sit back and you get a chair and a nice beer and you watch your zombie shoot all...
I mean, you
or
could
your
also
robot
just like
shoot all the
not play a
zombies.
video game and watch a zombie show instead.
Yeah. But then it wouldn't be your robot killing all the zombies.
It's true.
It'd just be like,
Well, shooting the zombies isn't the part that I find boring after a while. It's like continuously digging in the ground.
Yeah.
It would be nice to just be able to automate that. And then I really find the system engaging because it's very similar to what I do as a software engineer, right? There are simple to complex problems that you break down into smaller tasks, and then you tell a computer, which is not smart. Okay? Computers are not smart.
computers are just rocks that we tricked into thinking.
They do what they're told to do, and that's it. So if you give bad directions, it's going to fuck up. And if the computer fucks up 999,999 times out of a million, you fucked up. And that's one of the really appealing things in this game. So anyway, I'm going to give it a lot more exploration, but I wish I could just steal. I wish I could just be like, okay, give me those train parts, copy, paste into 7 Days to Die. Game works. That'll be the best thing about an AI in the future, I think. I can be like, hey, Siri, make this go. And then she does. I don't know. Hey, Google, I have diarrhea. Send the poo police. That was a callback from the last one.
It was.
Frank, you weren't here. We were talking about how Tinder is adding like a red alert button that you push it and it escalates eventually to the police.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it surreptitiously. And I was like, I would just make it so you don't have to push a button. You just say, okay, Google, I have diarrhea. And so your date's like, okay, I'm ready to get out of here. It might save you. And they go, do you need assistance? Do you need the poo police? And you go, yes, send them. I have diarrhea badly. And then the police come. And they can wear brown. You know, they could be the poop, but they're actual police, just in like undercover. Anyhow, does anybody have any questions about this game?
No.
Okay, it's worth the $8. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. If I had to pick somebody in the room who would enjoy it, I think it would be Frank. Jake, I don't know if it's as creatively engaging as the games that I see you play. Like, you do a lot less building than in 7 Days to Die. You're like, it's like, okay, I made a thing and I can hold 50 logs. How do I make 10 times as many robots to hold 10 times as many logs? And then you do that thing. I don't know. Chris?
Yes.
I don't think you'd like it, but...
Probably not.
No. But I do give it a thumbs up. It's pretty good. Well, that's it. Okay. So that was... There you go. Do we have any other cropics we want to cover?
You've been playing a certain fighting game, haven't you?
I have been playing a very certain fighting game. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh, stick your head up my butt and fight for air.
Oh yeah, all day, air day.
Edition.
It's fucking awesome.
Wait, I thought you were already playing Mortal Kombat 11.
No, I was playing X.
What the? Okay.
Now I'm playing 11.
Kombat 10.
I thought 11 came out to very lukewarm reception.
Yeah, and it was the microtransactions. Then they got rid of it, and now it's like the game, and it's amazing.
Tell us more about it, please.
It's beautiful. It is probably the most polished, smooth game I've ever seen. They definitely... I'm just going to start here. Well, first, it won the Steam Awards for best game that you suck at. and that's a fact. It's really, really hard. It always was, but this one is really, really hard. But this game has the best tutorial I have ever seen in my life, or took part in my life in a game. They go through every little detail down to how to look at how many frames they're moving in, so that you know exactly when to hit. They keep a little controller in the bottom corner that like lights up each button for the combo that they're doing.
Oh my God.
And it makes like, these little beeping sounds at the same time, so that you start to get the rhythm and the timing in your head for how these moves are actually supposed to be executed. I did not know that for like the longest time that I've been playing these Mortal Kombat games, that like say you want to do like a move that's like punch, kick, or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. You got to go da 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 da, and then it'll go punch, kick. So like you'll be done doing your combo, and then the move will still be happening. I had no idea that's how it worked.
Really?
Yep, that's exactly how it works. So you go and then they'll do their thing.
Oh, so you don't.
It's not like actual real time hitting and punching and stuff like that. So like, I mean, the individual punches and kicks, yes.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to put in a combo, you got to put in the sequence, and then they'll do it.
That's bananas.
Yeah, and then they tell you like, you shouldn't do this against somebody who's ducking, and then they can do this, and then they can block you this way if you can block them that way. And it's for like every position, everything. And they really, really, really took the time to show people how to fucking play the game the right way instead of just button mashing it.
I'm really stoked to hear that. Now, are you doing super cool moves? I'm
getting there. Yeah. I'm starting to figure them out. Like I'm starting to learn how to link all the combos together the right way. Mm-hmm. And then each character has their own set of cool special moves. If you're looking at it here, you'll see over on, we got the little things flashing across the screen that says Fatal Blow over by their health bars there. What that is if you pull your triggers, they will do like this. It'll stop the match, but it'll go into like this crazy animation where they're like breaking bones and blood is splattering everywhere. Like they're doing like this crazy combo thing. And it's usually like a kind of to even up the odds. So like if they're beating the shit out of you and you get a little bit low on your health there, you can do a fatal blow and it'll kind of even up the score a little bit.
And that doesn't feel like cheesy or lame?
No, because the animations are so fucking cool. It's definitely really, really, really cool how they do it. It doesn't feel intrusive, and it really flows nice. And they're not like long either, like so. And then they in this one, they threw in where like you can enhance like your certain special moves, which could sometimes trigger a similar thing to the Fatal Blow, where like it'll slow down the time and it'll go into like an animation, but it'll just be a lot shorter.
So
it does look great.
How do you like the characters?
Honestly, and that was going to be one thing. That's probably my biggest complaint is the roster. I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't like the main boss. That the whole like the main antagonist of the story. Her name is Chronica, and she's pretty much the controller of time. Okay. And it's really dumb. But the story overall wasn't too bad. I thought it really went nice. And it didn't feel burdensome, and it kept the fighting going. You were always fighting, and it was cool. The levels are okay versus Mortal Kombat X. I liked the levels better in that one, and they were also another thing with that though probably is because they were like a lot darker. Where this one they're trying to throw in like all this color and detail, but I feel like they ended up kind of being just bland. Mm-hmm. That seems to be the biggest complaint so far too. Is the levels, and they keep trying to get into Realm Studios to drop more levels eventually.
My question is that sexy bug lady. Is she the real good?
Oh, Devora, the
real good looking green lady who has like horrible bug legs that come out.
Yep.
Of her back sometimes. Mm-hmm. Would you? You know
would I?
Yeah.
Well, no, there was another one in the and she was in the last game, but she's not in this one, and she was in previous installments too. But Melina, those chompers.
Oh, what she's got the crazy teeth. Yeah. I don't know, man, because I think the bug lady's pretty hot, but then like if she whipped out a horrible spider leg in the middle, like could you keep it together?
Could you keep it together?
That's really the question.
You're asking the real questions.
Now, did they desexify the ladies in this one?
No, not in the least.
Did they more sexify the dudes?
I mean, they're all pretty ripped.
All right, cool.
They're all unlike this guy.
Jesus.
The fatalities are cool as fuck. There's nothing more fun and exciting for me than nailing a brutality at the end, because they happen as the last hit of the match, where like a fatality is you got to put in the key sequence in and then it'll do the fatality. A brutality is all depending on if you met certain criteria throughout the duration of the match, like don't block in the second round or whatever, something like that. And it happens if you do like example, if you do the uppercut, their head will come flying off with their spine attached to it. That'll go flying.
Oh, that's so good.
Scorpion, one of them is he'll like spit fire at them and then continue to spit fire at them until they just disintegrate into ashes. There was one I really like from Kung Lao where he'll drape you over his knee and just like punch it real fast, and then like your head just snaps off because he's just beating the shit out of your head. And that's a fun one too.
All right, I'm going to tell you one of my most horrific stories of embarrassment, and it has to do with Mortal Kombat. I asked this girl named Sonia out once. We were going to go out like a couple days later, and like the night before we were supposed to go out, I got super drunk, and I was in the midst of a concussion as well, so I was really firing on all cylinders. And I called her up, and amongst other things, I said, I've studied your moves, Sonya. We literally never talked again. Sonya's a character in Mortal Kombat, and that's a line from either the game or the movie.
It was from the movie.
Studied your moves, Sonya.
That reminded me. So they brought back Shang Tsung in this game, and they actually made it the guy from the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
They put his face on there. And I'm pretty sure that he did the voiceover for it too. Yep. So he's in there. I don't use him that much though. I wasn't a huge fan of him.
Who's your favorite character to use?
Right now, I've actually just been using Scorpion.
Dude, he's such a baller.
He's a really good all-around mid-range fighter, and he's got all kinds of shit. And this video that we're watching also reminded me of another thing that they added is the level of customization on the characters is the most you've had for any Mortal Kombat game. You can completely customize their outfits with like hundreds of things that you can just earn. And then you could also customize the special move sets and everything as well. And you can get I think you get like 5 slots of them per character.
Wow. And now, do they affect anything about the performance or just cosmetic?
It's cosmetic, but you can also choose like which special moves you have. Like that one where he was throwing his spear around, lit on fire, like throwing it around in like a big circle like that. I don't have that in my moveset. I didn't earn that one yet. So like you can earn these different additional movesets as well on top of your cosmetic customization that you can do.
Now, are you rocking this game on PC with a controller?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impossible. I don't even think it's keyboard compatible for the actual game portion of it.
Now, what controller are you using? Like a
Xbox? Yeah.
Okay.
There's also a thing in here. I think that started in Mortal Kombat X, but it's in 11 again as well. It's called the Crypt. And it's basically where you earn like all these cosmetics, all these like additional fatalities and all this stuff. And you pretty much go around on Shang Tsung's island and opening chests with in-game currency that you win. I think that's really cool because then it becomes like an adventure game because it's in third person and you run around and you're trying to find things and unlock them, solving puzzles. So it's another cool thing that you can do on top of it.
Now, would you want to play a battle royale of this game? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? You feel me?
What? Like if it was like this style, but like with
run around and you pick up cool items, and then when you run into somebody, you one-on-one fight them, battle royale style.
I think a battle royale just where up to the total number of players could be the total number of characters in the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be
just all the characters face off with whatever those players preset, customizations are in place for those characters. It could be pretty neat.
Yeah, there is a cool multiplayer function that they added on this one where you can go up against a really high level combatant and do like tag team with a bunch of other people. So you can tag team in to try to beat this fucking these bosses.
Cool.
So they add cool little things to keep it fresh. It's not just straight up fighting, because now you can add. They have consumables that you can take in the middle of a match, so you can get life, or you can summon another character to knock the other guy over while you're trying to get back up again. Because sometimes getting up takes a long time. And so you can summon someone else to knock the other guy over so that you have a moment to get up again and shit.
So it seems to me that the people who are finally working on this game, and this game's what, like 300-400 years old, the series, people who really like the game have gotten their hands on designing it, because all this shit sounds like exactly what a fan of the series would want.
Yeah,
it seems like they've got their finger on the pulse of the community.
They're definitely delivering, for sure. There's no doubt that they're constantly going. There's just seeing what they did from X to this one is dramatic, and X was exceptional, I thought.
Yeah, you really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I put a lot of hours into it, but this one is like a whole it's a whole separate league.
Now, how did first off, I'm impressed that they changed the microtransaction system so dramatically that it actually made the game playable when it previously was so unpopular. But what about the system was not enjoyable?
I think from what I understood at launch, it was very it was Crash City.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't stable at launch, but I have yet to have any issue.
Okay.
The performance, I don't even get any screen tearing, like nothing. I don't get hiccups. Solid 60 where I keep it capped, and that's it. What this game does do, and I've only ever noticed this in WB games, unless I'm not paying attention in other games, but it'll auto detect your graphics card and automatically set it to the best settings.
What's
for your
WB
card.
Games?
Oh, Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers makes games?
Yeah. They made the Lord of the Rings games. They made the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor.
They make the really good ones.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So they got these going on, and they love to mix their IPs. So like the last one had Alien, Predator, and this one has the Terminator in it. Arnold's in it.
Joker, right?
Joker they just put in, and from what I understand, they're putting in Spawn.
That's pretty cool.
Spawn, I remember being in Soul Calibur, wasn't it, way back in the day?
I think so, yeah.
PS2.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can get the Ghost of Harambe.
Yeah.
My God.
A lot of people are trying to get them to put Sauron because Lord of the Rings.
Yo, that would be fucking hype.
Tell me that way, or at least a skin for one of the characters in here. Like they think it would be really good for this bulb Noob Saibot.
Oh no, I want dark Bilbo.
Dark Bilbo,
where he starts to get corrupted by the ring. There's that one scene he like chomps his teeth. And
it's terrifying.
Yeah, I want that. And he can like chic morph into Gollum. Yeah, this looks awesome,
dude. Like the gameplay looks like a fucking cutscene. That's how good it is. That's how detailed it is. The facial expressions,
really.
When they cut into like even in like the cutscenes, or when they do like those fatal blows in here, like the way that their facial expressions change is so impressive. Like the realism is unreal. They really spend a lot of time getting facial expressions correct.
Now that just the instruction mode that you explained to me,
it's extremely challenging.
That was the barrier for me getting into these games, because they looked fun, but it's like it's always hard to get into a game after somebody's been in the series for a long time. Mm-hmm. But multiply that by like 1,000 when you have no idea how the system works. Just when you were telling me like you're actually supposed to put all the buttons in and then they execute it, I'd never gotten any sort of combo executed in any of the previous Mortal Kombats, and it's like, why would I even spend the money?
Definitely tier it nicely too, so that you at least, because like they'll in like your pause menu, they'll give you like basic combos that they have, but then in the end, when you get into the tutorial, they start getting into the advanced combos, and they teach you how to start linking combos, the different types of combos you can get, because there's a bunch of skill set combos if they're against the wall, or there's a bunch of skill set combos if you're at a distance from them, like and then each character is different. You have to figure them all out for each individual character.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can definitely spend a lot of time just learning how to play each person.
So do you remember what you picked this game up for?
It was on sale recently. I got it for less than 30.
And what would you say it's worth?
Well, I've already crossed the 30 hours, and I'm definitely going to pass it even further. So,
if I were to buy it, what would be the highest price you tell me?
I would say if it was your standard AAA.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. If you're into fighting games, full price, to even just for like just the fact that it's such a polished, beautiful, stable game, just for that alone is worth it. But then like you throw in like the mechanics and everything, it's excellent.
That's awesome.
I would give it a 9.5 out of 10.
All right, man. That's exciting. I might have to pick this up. Instead, I'll just not eat this week and buy more video games. Before we kick it to the Steam sale, I got to say, I wish we had a way to just sort of passively record ourselves via the server on 7 Days to Die, because recently Jake and I had another run-in with hilarity, I suppose.
I left my actual head off.
It was
all the way off. So
he and I were just fucking around. We got a new mod on. Well, he got the new mod on there. So we're like going through and exploring stuff, and Jake turned on friendly fire. So I pull out my new like Desert Eagle and I shoot him with the Desert Eagle. He goes, ow. And then I'm like, I know he's going to shoot back at me. So I'm like sort of dodging or whatever. And then I just drop dead because he shoots me with a Barrett 50 cal. And he's like, I thought you would go ragdoll. And I just dropped like a sack of bricks. And I was like, you know what?
It on zombies, it sends them flying. It's very hilarious in its own right.
Yeah. Now, remember, this is like 2 in the morning, and we're both pretty tired and fucking around. So I was like, all right, like, no big deal. I'm like, I get a experience penalty, but I can just make experience if I want now. We gotten to the point where we just I've been summoning like 100 enemies, like bears and zombies and birds and shit and panthers, and I let them fight each other while I shoot them and bomb them and stuff, just because I want to kill with these new weapons. Anyway, so I God mode back. I fly back across the map, pick up my backpack, and Jake's off doing something, and I'm like flying around, and I creative mode, and I get myself a stick of dynamite. And what I found last time I was messing around with dynamite is it works with grenades as well. You either light the dynamite or pull a pin on a grenade and you throw the first one, and then you just mash the throw button and it just spawns a ton of explosives afterwards, and the explosion of the first one sets off the rest of them. So I'm like floating around this building that Jake's in clearing, and he goes, oh, you coming for your revenge? And I was like, I don't know, because I really hadn't made up my mind, because I couldn't find him. I was looking for him, and I just wanted to throw a dynamite at his feet and like destroy the ground under him so he falls 6 feet or whatever. You get a little stuck if you're on a bike. So I come into the building, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I light the first dynamite, and I dump probably 50 dynamite sticks into the house. And apparently, from his point of view, what did it look like?
Let me tell you what I saw. Okay, we're inside of a house, and we've allied for the moment, so we can. There's like a compass marker for each of us for each other to see, and I come up. I think I was coming up a flight of steps, and I was about to round a corner because, like, at this point, I was almost like counter hunting you. I'm like, this motherfucker's up to something. Like, like I'm on it, right? And so, like, I'm like somewhere between just like looking for him and like re-clearing this house just in case, just in case we have to go PvP real quick. And he, in God mode, flies around to the same corner with just a stream of sticks of dynamite erupting from his pants. And he's like a dynamite ghost. And I was like, fuck. And I dart back down the steps and out the front door, only to turn around and watch nothing but like the 4 corners of the house remaining. Like the whole house just cavitates from the explosion. Like, and then I just start laughing.
Oh my god!
Because of the sight that preceded it. It was like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
It was so perfectly like, I don't know. And I wasn't even being a shithead. I hadn't made him, I don't know. And I goes through a wall and dump this waterfall. And I hear him like, oh shit! And then the house explodes. And there's so many explosions to calculate. The game drops a couple of, it's like, oh fuck. back to normal FPS, and the house is just a couple, like you said, a couple of corners left. I destroyed the whole fucking house.
It was
Why
like,
did I not see this?
and I could have just popped into God mode, right? But
Yeah.
you know, I wasn't trying to be cheesy.
Yeah, it was more fun to. I can't believe you got out.
I was just like, oh fuck! I mean, like it was a straight shot down the steps and out the
Yeah.
door, and then I just kept sprinting across the street and then turned around.
This shit blowing up. Oh my
It
god.
was like, bye.
So if you guys have a,
Then we laughed until we cried. I was laughing for
Yeah.
a solid like at least 5 minutes.
yep, it was rough.
It was really comical.
So if anybody out there has a solution to how to just sort of like capture the last half an hour of gameplay or 10 minutes even and continuously overwrite it, that would be really appreciated.
well, these things exist native in Microsoft in Windows 10.
I wonder if there's a way the server
but-
can do it though.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was enough fun for another section. We're going to kick it to another break, and we'll come back with a Steam sale. The robot might or might not be here. He's got to go to Nerd Club, a.k.a. class. What a fucking idiot. We'll catch him on the flip side. Steve Sell. Steve Sell. Steve Sell. Steve Sell. Steve Sell. Blues.
Steve Sale.
All right.
Steve Sale.
We've done it.
Steven.
We've really pushed the boundaries of music today. Jacob, what are we pointing our face holes at?
The Metro franchise up to 75% off.
Hard yes.
My God.
Hard yes.
The Metro bundle for $50.
Hard yes.
What is Metro? Is it all about becoming effeminate but maintaining?
Wrong.
Metro Exodus $23.99.
Do you not know what it is?
No, I don't know.
It's basically post-nuclear Russia where humans are living in the metro subways and there's monsters.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's
Hot take.
Yo, these games are fucking dope.
Hot take. I think they're overrated.
Wrong.
They're good games.
Okay. But
Yeah.
you don't think they're amazing?
I don't.
They're and what are they, like first-person shooters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
I've seen a very little bit of gameplay of one of these games.
I'll say this. I enjoyed all of them that I played.
Very stylistic. This looks like some straight up demon shit. This looks like if you took the Fallouts and mixed it with the old Dooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
That's a really good analogy
Yeah.
for it. Yes.
No, I'm definitely getting the same idea. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should give them a chance. I guess, I don't know if this is the most recent one. Metro Exodus, February 14, 2019. Very positive by itself. Again, $24, 40% off. But if that, what's that?
Many of these are available on Game Pass for Xbox and probably also Game Pass for PC.
So buy Metro franchise bundle, and what does it include? 2033 Redux, Last Light Redux, Exodus and the Exodus expansion for $50. Not a dramatic discount as a bundle of 5%, but that's on top of the Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light for $5 each. And then the new game with the expansion pass, eyeballing it, that's what, like $40-$45?
Yeah, 20. I
50
think you'll.
altogether.
If you play all three of those games all the way through, you're looking at probably 70 hours of gameplay. So
Yeah.
you'll have fun. You'll enjoy it. It's a good value.
I do like all things post-apocalyptic, apparently. So that's...
You'd enjoy it.
I'm deeply offended by the next one, and that is No Man's Sky. Not offended by the sale price of $29.99. Offended by the fact that that sale price is 50% off of still being a full-price game after the level of debacle this game was when it came out multiple years ago.
26. It's been 4 years, kids. Come on.
Yeah. Now, I do know that like last year or the year before, it was kind of like a sort of a renaissance with it, where like if you don't know, in a nutshell, and I'm not an expert on the subject at all, but basically, as I understand it, No Man's Sky got all this hype. I think it had like a GoFundMe or whatever. Mm-hmm. It raised a whole bunch of cash, promised all these great things, and what we got was kind of a procedural generated pointless grind that wasn't very satisfying. And apparently, from what I've heard, a couple years down the line, they fixed it. It's like a fun game now to play. I don't know any of the details beyond that description. I'm definitely seeing some things I don't recall seeing. And maybe that's why they're still getting away with charging full price for it, but I don't know. I mean, I was never particularly heartbroken by the disappointment that was No Man's Sky. I didn't give any money to the GoFundMe. I never had much of an interest in it in the first place. But I do chafe at the notion that this is still considered a full price game. Yeah,
I feel like they're like, well, we finally gave you what you want. And it's like, well, you should have done that. You should have released the game later. Or
done the perpetual alpha thing and been honest.
But then they would have only charged $30 from the beginning. Whatever. It's always looked good. A lot of the things was like the demos didn't match. Like, we're going to have fucking robots, having sex with dinosaurs and procedurally generate their offspring, and they'll talk to you and it'll be great. And then they didn't. They had like, a jack in the box next to a lizard.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would do some more digging and consider it, but but partly on principle, at least, I'm not paying $30 for it. Yeah. That's a game that I'm definitely waiting for another 5 to 10 years and buying it for under $5 later. Among Us for $2.49. What?
It's a $5 game.
$5 game in the first place, so there we go. It looks kind of like Pokemon.
Wait, is this like It or The Thing? Is this like a game version of The Thing?
I don't know, but it's an online and local party game of teamwork and betrayal for 4 to 10 players in space.
I keep getting excited about these games because they're like only $5, and then I was like, oh, I basically got to buy 4 copies to have a good time.
Yeah, it's definitely a party game. Not really speaking to me too much.
Yeah, who's the imposter? Okay, I imagine it's probably like one person's an alien. You got to out them. You vote. It has it has like a space mystique, which is makes me think of Alien, but then it's
like a top-down isometric almost.
But who's infected of The Thing.
Yeah, except without any of the cool monstery, gory stuff you get in The Thing. So, yes.
What about Bug Fables? What about Icky Spookies?
Bug Fables, overwhelmingly positive. The game is only 4 months old, or 3 months. Follow a bunch of characters I don't care to name as they uncover the secrets of the land of Bulgaria. Yeah, in Bulgaria. Explore and combine your team's abilities to solve puzzles, defeat powerful enemies, and find ancient treasures. And it is a
goddamn click simulator.
It's either a click simulator or like an RPG. So okay, there's some movement on a map and some breaking of things.
Oh, the art's a little neat.
A little bit of light platforming, a little bit of, I guess that's turn-based combat.
This almost looks like a fucking mobile game.
Yeah,
how much does it look like a mobile game? $16, 20% off.
I have to look into other Moonsprout games.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't speak to me really. NBA 2K20 for $20.
Oh, is that your picture on there, Frank?
Yep.
I knew you'd been balling. I didn't realize that you were so well known.
Yep. A couple repeats here from the Metro Pack. Do you want to look at NBA 2K20?
Frank, are you going to comment on that? Yeah, let's take a look.
NBA?
Yeah.
I mean, let me say this. I haven't played it. The only thing I know about 2K is that when the game debuted back in July or August or whatever.
September on Steam.
Whatever, yeah. I think it debuted a month or two before that on consoles. There was a #fix2K thing on Twitter going around because it was apparently like super broken.
I think I think I heard that the WWE for a game for this year had a similar kind of some kind of shit where like the original devs were kicked off the project, and then they brought in some external contractors who never worked on this type of game before, and then like had an insanely unreachable timetable, of a matter of like months to like put it out. And if you look up anything about the most recent WWE game, whatever that is, it's hilarious. There's like the bugs are ridiculous. I wonder if, because I think it's the same. I think it's also 2K that owns it. I'm not sure though, but I wonder if there's any coincidence there with them pulling some fuckery and leading to some short strokes on their main titles.
I mean, these kinds of series you can really lean on. You can, like, every third year maybe give a shit because people get hype about it, and you dupe them the 1 year, and then they go, maybe next year will be different, then it's not. And then the third year, you're like, oh, we didn't just update the roster this time. Now, Frank, you might know, weren't there 2 competing basketball series, like video game series, for a while?
Yeah, for a while, but I don't remember how long it's been. To be honest, all right, so for the sports games, every couple of years I'll pick up one of them. I think last year, like for the 2019s, I picked up a deal that was like FIFA and Madden for like $20.
Oh, okay.
And it was, like months, like probably closer to when the 20s came out. But I figured getting both of them for $20, I'm going to play both, like play it a couple of games each. It's something fun to have. For the NBA series, though, I've always been under basketball is such an easy game to go play. There is a basket everywhere that exists. That somewhere there is like a public basketball court, and it doesn't take that many people to play. You can play with 4 people.
Right.
I'd rather just go play basketball than play NBA.
Right.
I know it's a video game and it's kind of different, but to me, it's like of all of the ones, it's the least appealing. Just because, like, if I want to do some basketball stuff, I'll just go play basketball.
Yeah, suffice to say, I'm not sold personally. What else we got? Bard Trauma, and the First Tree, and Kingdom Come.
What the hell is Kingdom Come?
I have that game, but I never played it.
It's a first-person like medieval sword fighter game, and it's like apparently, kind of an RPG also.
Okay.
But you fight with swords, and the combat's hard. There's you have to position your sword in certain ways to.
Do I own this? I bought one of these. Medieval fighting.
For some reason, Steam isn't showing us a video.
Games.
Did you? Wasn't it Mordhau that you picked up?
No. I thought about it. I think I got this one and I never did the review. If it is the same game, it's pretty good. All I did was play multiplayer. And this isn't one I played. Wait. Jesus Christ, I can't fucking tell. No, I don't think this is it. Because it didn't have this big overmap and stuff. What I found was with this medieval fighting is that it's actually a lot of fun, and if they, as long as they do the balancing well, you can have a good time. I think the secret to this, if the combat's at all frustrating, is a fast respawn. But it certainly looks good. My experience is this better be fucking good as shit, have a really good story, or something really neat to set it apart for $30, because I feel like it's just going to end up feeling like you're playing Counter-Strike with some sword mechanics,
I mean, it's like Skyrim set in historical, I think it's Poland. And you're the son of a blacksmith, like the best blacksmith in your village, and a bunch of bad guys come and burn the village down and try to capture your king, and everyone runs away, and your family gets killed. And you start developing your character from there and learning how to fight. And you can steal, you get caught for it. You wind up in jail. You can help people on little side quests. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, the combat is a fairly steep learning curve, because it's not just point and click to swing your sword. It's you need to put your sword where it needs to be to defend or to enter that attack, and like
Yeah.
it's weird and positional, and you can get murked really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not it's well done, I can't say,
Mm.
but it is a curve. So this is we're just looking at some vids from just a random people talking about it. But anyway, let's see, May 28, 2019, this particular version of it went on to Steam. It's older than that for sure. And I mean, it was a full price game. Now it's full price is $40. That's not that bit deep of a sale right now. So I don't know. We have the first tree for $1, 90% off. This is our last entry here. Mostly positive reviews. It's a beautiful third-person exploration game centered around two parallel stories: a fox trying to find her missing family, and a son reconnecting with his estranged father in Alaska. Uncover artifacts from the son's life as he becomes intertwined with the fox's journey toward the first tree.
Hold on, I'm going to be salad fingers. Oh, look at the cute little foxy. Oh, he's just reading a map.
Yep.
Did I get your insides a churn in there, Frank? Did you feel like you were home?
I did. Yep.
Well, I'm going to buy this for Genevieve. I mean, she's worth $1
This looks
at least.
it looks like a mainly story-driven sort of thing.
Looks really good. I mean, it
Story
looks
and
like
exploration.
visually, it looks like The Long Dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fucking $1, and it's mostly positive. What can you say about that?
Yeah. All right, and that I think
Well, there was
wraps.
there was Bard Trauma.
Bard Trauma. We'd seen this before. What's that?
Really?
about? Yeah, it's been on here.
Why does it look like a shark?
Barrow Trauma. Sorry.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's about
Oh, yeah, okay. You're in like a...
you're in like a spaceship or a submarine rather.
All right, fuck it. Fuck this game. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, it's like that other it's like an action platformer sort of thing, except you're surviving on a submarine, keeping it intact and killing Mondus who get on and whatever. All right, it's a much less interesting spread than last week, I think, at least for us. I'm gonna skip the line here, and if I get anything at all, it'll be from the Metro franchise, possibly the whole thing for $50.
Yeah, I'm going with the first tree. I mean, it's $1 hair. I might get Metro Last Light Redux because it's $5. Pick up one of those. If Kingdom Come was $15, I'd roll the dice. And it's not any fault of it. It's just the hook isn't the like hard medieval combat. The hook just isn't there for me. So first tree, it's cute, and then I'm gonna put that Overcook my rice on a watch list.
Metro for sure.
I would say Metro, with the caveat that you should try and pick it up on Game Pass because it's cheaper. It's free. Buying Game Pass for a month is cheaper than paying for that.
Yeah. Well, that calls it. I think this was episode 90, by the way.
Oh my god,
90
more.
Well, yeah.
Till 69.
Hey, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Hey, if you got a grandma, tell her you love her, and then beat her ass on Cooking Mama or Overcooked or whatever, and turn her into a gamer grandma so you guys can really have those excellent memories. And hopefully she'll roast you because I can't recommend that enough. Thanks everybody for joining us, episode 90. We'll catch you at the next one, but don't forget to always not but McTwist ha zip zap zoop bibbity boppity boop pasta and fettuccine alfredo. Cock 'em, lock 'em, and rock 'em.